Hey there, welcome. It's really good to have you here. Let me ask you something straight from the heart. Have you ever found yourself wondering how to be closer, more present, more deeply connected to the woman you love, especially now that you're both a little older? You still care. You still desire. But sometimes, it feels like the old ways don't quite reach her anymore. The body changes. The energy shifts. And intimacy, real, warm, healing intimacy, starts asking for something different. Something deeper. Something softer. And brother, if you felt that, you're not alone. You see, as we grow older, a woman's body becomes more sensitive, not less. Her needs don't disappear. In fact, they often grow richer, more layered, more emotional. She doesn't just want touch anymore. She wants understanding in that touch. She wants you to feel her, not just physically, but emotionally. She wants slowness, patience, presence, not pressure. And here's the part that matters most. She still needs you, but she needs a different version of you now. Not the young man who raced to finish, but the wise man who knows that pleasure for her begins long before you ever use your tongue or lips. It begins with your energy, your calm, your patience, your willingness to listen, not just with your ears, but with your hands, with your breath, with your heart. So let's talk about that. Let's talk, openly, gently, about how to become more emotionally and physically attuned to her needs. Not to impress her, not to perform, but to heal her, to connect, to awaken something beautiful between you both, even after years of being together, or even if you're just getting close now. The first thing to remember is this: older women don't just want to feel sexy, they want to feel safe. Safe to open up, safe to slow down, safe to let go. And that kind of safety doesn't come from fancy tricks or fast moves. It comes from your patience, from the way you breathe, from how softly you lay your hands on her hips, how you let her body guide you instead of rushing in. So when you begin to explore her with your mouth, don't go straight to the sensitive spots. Wait, pause, look at her, smile gently, maybe whisper something warm to her. You're beautiful, I love making you feel good, I'm here with you, whatever feels real to you. This isn't about being poetic, it's about being present. Let your lips start in places you don't usually think of, her inner thighs, her belly, the soft folds of her waist. Explore her body like it's the first time every time. That kind of slowness builds not just arousal, but trust. And when she trusts you, her body begins to open in a way that no technique can force. And here's something that often gets missed. With age, a woman's pleasure zones can shift. What once felt good might now feel too sensitive. What was once ignored might now be the very place she craves attention. So don't assume. Instead, tune in. Use your ears and eyes. Is she tensing? Is she melting? Is her breath catching or slowing down? Her body will tell you everything you need to know, if you listen. Now let's go a little deeper, into the mindset. Being soft doesn't make you less of a man. In fact, it makes you more. It shows strength, confidence, emotional maturity. When you take your time, when you honor her rhythms, you're not losing control, you're leading with wisdom. You're showing that you've moved beyond the ego, beyond the race, and into the realm of real pleasure. And that changes everything. Because what you're offering her isn't just an orgasm. It's connection, restoration, a reminder that she's still cherished, still desired, still glowing in your eyes. You're giving her the gift of being seen, fully, completely, without judgment. And in doing so, you'll find something powerful awaken in you too. Your energy will feel calmer, your body more alive, your connection deeper than ever. And when that shift begins, when you start practicing patience, listening to her breath, watching her melt from your presence, it becomes the most natural thing in the world to keep going. Part 2, middle points. When you start approaching her body with that kind of calm and care, something incredible starts to happen. She begins to relax in ways she hasn't in years. Not just physically, but emotionally. You may notice her breathing slows. Her shoulders drop. Her body opens, not from excitement alone, but from feeling deeply understood. This kind of intimacy, friend, goes beyond physical touch. It becomes spiritual. Not in a mystical sense, but in a deeply human way. You're building something that reaches into her soul, reminding her she is safe, she is beautiful, and she is worthy of being adored. And now that you've begun letting go of rushing or pressure, now that you're paying attention with your breath, your hands, and your heart, we can begin exploring even more meaningful shifts in how you care for her. One of the most powerful things you can practice is rhythm without force. See, as we age, the body responds to patterns, not pressure. Fast, forceful movements might have worked when you were both younger, but now they often overwhelm the nervous system. Older women tend to crave a consistent, gentle, loving rhythm. It creates a wave of sensation, not a jolt. It invites her deeper into the experience, like floating, not falling. Your tongue doesn't have to move like a machine. It has to move like a whisper. Think of your mouth like a paintbrush, not a drill. You're not trying to finish something. You're offering art, sensual art. Sometimes even holding still, just resting your lips or tongue with gentle breath, can be far more powerful than constant motion. And don't forget to use your hands, not just as tools but as extensions of your care. Gently hold her thighs, stroke her belly, squeeze her hips slowly, let your fingertips brush places you're not even directly focusing on. This communicates, I'm with all of you, not just one part. It's this full body attention that creates the kind of pleasure she remembers for days. Not because it was wild, but because it made her feel alive again. Now let's talk about communication, the silent kind. When you're down there, you might not always use words, but your energy speaks volumes. Your eyes, your pace, your breath, they all send messages. If you're distracted or unsure, she feels it. If you're rushing, she closes up. But if you're steady, confident, and emotionally connected, she lets go of the armor she didn't even know she was wearing. It's in those quiet moments that you build a bond that can outlast any performance. And don't be afraid to look at her while you're giving. Not to check for approval or praise, but to share a moment. Sometimes just a glance up with soft eyes says, I love you, I love doing this for you, without a single word. If she's shy or unsure, let her take her time. She may need encouragement, not pressure. A whispered "you're safe," or "I'm here, take all the time you need," can open her heart faster than any movement ever could. And listen, there will be days when things don't go as planned. Maybe she's tired. Maybe her mind is heavy. Maybe her body feels a little different than yesterday. That's okay. That's part of the journey at this stage of life. What matters is how you respond. Do you pull away? Or do you hold her? Do you get frustrated? Or do you kiss her forehead and tell her you're just happy to be close? Because when you respond with grace, you become more than just a partner. You become her anchor. This right here is where emotional healing and physical pleasure truly meet. You're not just creating a sexual experience, you're creating a safe space for her to feel fully seen and loved. And believe it or not, that's exactly what helps her feel confident enough to enjoy more pleasure, more often, without fear or tension. And here's something else you may not have been told. Slowness doesn't mean less passion. In fact, when done with intention, slowness becomes the deepest kind of passion. You start to feel every breath, every shift in her hips, every tiny response she makes. You're not rushing past her cues, you're drinking them in, savoring them. And in doing so, your own experience deepens too. This is where your confidence as a man matures. Not because of what you do, but because of how fully you listen. And when that sense of clarity begins to grow, the next shift becomes even more natural. Here is part 3, the final part of the script. This section brings the conversation to a close with heart, clarity, and confidence. Always grounded in warmth, encouragement, and emotional strength for men and women over 55. And once that emotional clarity sets in, once you start truly feeling her breath, her rhythms, her quiet shifts, something even deeper takes root. Trust becomes pleasure, and pleasure becomes trust. They begin feeding each other like an endless circle. This is the point where older intimacy becomes more powerful than anything you ever knew in your younger years. Because now it's not about performance. It's not about proving. It's about presence. It's about showing up with your full heart, your full attention, and offering something no younger man can give: emotional wisdom. And here's the final piece I want to leave with you. You are more than enough. Not just for her, but for yourself. There's no perfect technique. There's no one way to touch, to kiss, to give. What matters most, what she feels most, is whether you're really there with her, whether you're calm, whether your energy says, "Take your time, I'm not going anywhere," because that energy heals. That energy restores confidence. It melts away her doubts about her aging body. It silences the voice in her head that says she's not attractive anymore. It tells her, you are still wanted, you are still a woman, and you matter deeply. And in turn, you get something even greater. You begin to reclaim your own sense of masculine presence, not from dominance but from grace. From being able to give without ego, to hold space for pleasure without control. That, my friend, is where true power lives. So even if your own energy isn't what it used to be, even if your body has changed too, don't let that stop you. Because what you now carry in your heart, your patience, your maturity, your tenderness, that is your greatest gift. That is what she needs now more than anything. And when you offer it openly and freely, she opens back up to you, emotionally and physically, in ways that are deeply real and beautifully human. Now take a breath with me. Just sit in that truth for a moment. You don't need to rush. You don't need to fix. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present, to show up, to listen, to explore with care. And from that space, the intimacy you create won't just bring pleasure, it will bring healing for both of you. Because at this stage in life, that's what intimacy is really about. Healing each other with touch, with presence, with love. No more pretending. No more performance. Just two people choosing to show up fully. So here's to you for having the courage to slow down, to open your heart, and to love more patiently than ever before. And here's to her for being willing to receive that love and to let it renew her spirit. You're both still beautiful. You're both still alive with need. And you both deserve to feel joy, connection, and peace in the body you have today. That's all for this video. You have a great time, friends.